right, we're live. What's going on? What's up, Facebook world? What's up? What's up? So, that's right. So I'm going to be experimenting with a new format here on social media, so that I can actually run my lives on Facebook, YouTube, and I think either Twitter or Instagram at the same time. So I'll be using that new platform. I'm gonna let you guys let me know what you think about it. If you like it, definitely let me know that you like it, and maybe you want to try it out yourself. But this morning, what I want to do is I just want to do a continuation of yesterday's call when we were talking about how to become a homeowner without using a bank. How to become a homeowner even if you have bad credit. How to get into houses. How to use these houses to create passive income. How to use these houses to give you multiple streams of income. And the strategies that I'm going to talk about are strategies that I've used. I used it when I first started in the business 20 years ago to pick up my first property with very, very little money down. And within, a few months, I made $34,500 off of it. So on the East Coast. Now, as I got better and I started perfecting it, I started doing it with less and less money down. And eventually I got to the point where I perfected it in such a way that I could get into properties with no money down. All right? And so what I did is I said, okay, I had lost everything. Like maybe you can relate to going through life and losing all of your money and not knowing what to do. And most people stress out, but I just look for solutions to problems. And that's how I've always been able to bounce back. So what do we do for people who just want to get into a home, right? You want to be a homeowner, but you don't have great credit, and you can't go to a bank, and you have limited money. You can't use a real estate agent because they're not going to do business with you, but you deserve a home. You still deserve to live in a nice home, and a home is always better than having an apartment, giving someone else your money and paying somebody else's mortgage. So the funny thing about it is a lot of times I hear people say they don't want responsibility and they don't want to pay a mortgage. Well, the way I see it, you're either going to pay your own mortgage or you're going to pay somebody else's mortgage. It's just how it goes, right? You have to choose. You make the decision. You always do. You always make the decisions. So then I started getting good in it, and I got a house down in a very prestigious area in Orlando called Dr. Phillips, Florida. I had never heard of it before. A real estate agent took me out there. Once I got out there, I knew that I was in the place where the money was, right? And one thing about me, I always like to live in very nice areas. So when I was down in Florida, I didn't have a bunch of money. I went to Florida with about $324 in my pocket, in my bank account. And so I had to think back, like, what type of strategies can I use to get into these properties? And you can use the same thing for yourself. If you're a real estate investor, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. If you're a homeowner, looking to be a homeowner, you're going to love this also. So I used a lease option agreement, and I used a lease purchase agreement to get into houses and control them. So the very first one I did, it was a $500,000 house in Orlando, Florida. And in that one, I got into it with no money down. And it was about a 2,600 square foot home in a gated community. I love gated communities. I just love gated communities to death. So it was in a gated community, and everybody there was successful in whatever they were doing. Most people were business owners of corporations. So what I did is I found a seller who didn't live in the house, who had 2 mortgages, right? So I found a seller who was paying 2 mortgages, and the house was just sitting there empty. So I went to her. Her name was Ronnie, and I proposed to come in and pay her mortgage payment so that she wouldn't have two payments. And I even used this through a realtor. So they didn't go for paying the mortgage payment. They actually, I had to end up getting it at market value, at full rental price, but I still was able to get into my home and control it. So I had my own house with nobody doing a credit check or anything like that on me. So what I did is, it was a $500,000 house, but it had took a hit. The market had went down, and I got them to do a lease option with me on the current value of the house. So it had went down to like $350. So I locked in that $350 price, and this is what you use. You have your lease, and you have your option agreement, which means that the seller has to sell the property, and you have the option to purchase it. It'll put you in a pretty strong financial position. And if you know how to talk to people, you'll be able to pick up these houses for yourself. So the real deal, can I tell you a secret? Real deal? You don't need a real estate agent to do this. Sorry, agents, but it's the truth. You don't need a real estate agent to do this. And you can get into a home with absolutely horrible credit if you know how to negotiate and if you know how to talk to people. If you do have a little money down, it puts you in a better position, but this can be done with no money. Like I did it the first time, and I think I gave the lady like $2,600 to control a $500,000 property. Gated community, Dr. Phillips. So my question to you guys is, how many of you want to be a homeowner? Maybe you've been evicted, maybe you've been foreclosed on, or maybe you've never bought a home, but your credit's not right, and you wish that you could get into a home. The strategy works anywhere around the country. Anywhere around the country, right? So if you would like to get into a home, I can help you with that. I can help you get into a home. So that was the first time that I did it, and that was in Florida. Then I came back and did it again in North Carolina. Now this house was a 5,000 square foot home, and it was on top of a mountain in a city called Lake Lure, North Carolina. You guys can look it up. It's one of the tourist attractions, or favorite tourist attraction in the United States. So I got these properties, and that one I got it for the mortgage balance. Whatever his mortgage was, I just agreed to pay the mortgage. Once again, I'm finding people who are paying mortgages on two properties, their main home, and then I'm finding people who are paying mortgages on empty properties that are just sitting there. They're investment properties. Now, I don't know what you know, but I do know this. No one really wants to pay two mortgages. I don't care how much money you have. The whole reason that a person would get an investment property is for someone else to pay the mortgage down so they can eventually get it free, and then be able to get the appreciation in that property. So I did it the second time on that was a $500,000 house too. So I'm sitting on top of a mountain on about 2 acres of land in Lake Lure, North Carolina, and it is the greatest. There's 5 houses on the block, right? 5 houses on the entire block, and it's an exclusive area. People know that if you live in that area, that you have some money, right? So not only does it work on high-end properties, but it will work on low-end properties also, all right? So when you're ready to get serious about getting a home and securing this for your family, locking it up for 5 years or 10 years while you're working on your credit, I can definitely help you out with that. I'd love to mentor you. I'd love to tell you some things on that. That's for people who are just looking to be a regular homeowner. I also have some great options and opportunities for real estate investors or wholesalers, you would say. Because a real estate investor already has, their money's already making money for them, right? Their money's already making money. So we got to really understand the difference between, hold on one second here. We got to understand the difference between we got to understand the difference between an investor and a wholesaler, all right? So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to bring in my girl, Jonel, Get Your Freedom, Gilmer. Be able to connect first time. Good morning, sis. What's up? What's up? Can you hear me? I hear some going on. You hear that? See, I can't hear you speak at all. I can't hear anything. Lower your volume. Maybe go out and come back in. All right. Good one this morning for this cash flow morning show. And I'm going to be sharing some hot tips with you guys. All right, some hot tips. Let me bring her in. And let's see if we can get the Queen of D's back on here. It's just a whole bunch of noise. You can hear the noise? I think it's just your phone. I don't know if maybe turn something low or. Yeah, there's just a whole lot of noise. Yeah. So what we're talking about is this morning I'm just sharing different ways that I've gotten properties and how you can get into your own house without credit, get into your own house, without banks, get into your own house without realtors, right? Let me see if I can bring her back in here. All right. We're having some type of connection issues when I'm trying to bring her in. Good morning, Kay Mo Vaughn. How are you? Yeah, a lot of people don't know this stuff, man. And it's like blows my mind that people are settling and people are actually living in apartments, paying other people's mortgages off, and they don't have to. All right. Janelle, I see your thing up there. Let me see if I can bring her in here. It's not even letting me bring her in. It's not letting me bring her in. So here's the thing, guys. Seriously, like if you live in an apartment or you know somebody that lives in an apartment and they really want to live in a house, like they can do that. Like within the next 60 days, anybody can be in a house. It's just that you have to understand the principles and the way to go about getting them. Once again, I've gotten two houses where one was a $500,000 house sitting on top of a mountain on almost 2 acres of land down in Lake Lure, North Carolina. And the other one was another $500,000 house that was in a gated community in Dr. Phillips, Florida, Orlando. And when you understand these strategies, this is the most powerful thing out there, and I really don't hear a lot of people talking about it. And it's simply the lease option. It's simply the lease or the lease purchase agreement. That lease option allows you to, number one, let me see here. I can't bring her in. Number one, it allows you to control properties. And we're not taught how to control properties and just capture the equity. And when you know how to control the property and put, an option on a property and have it recorded in the land records, and now you just can sit back and wait. You don't even have to live in the property. You can take this property and let it be your money makers. Let it be your passive income generators, right? That's what this game is all about, right? When you understand this, you don't have to work for anybody anymore. You can sit up in your home in your pajamas all day. You can talk to sellers you can talk to owners that have their own home in one state and another property in your state, right? So let's just say, like with me right now, I'm in Michigan. I'm talking to people who have properties that have mortgages on them in Michigan, and they're in California, and they're sick and tired of paying two different mortgages. Does this make sense? Guys, if it makes sense, respond back to me. Let me know. Hey, listen, for the people that respond back to me and have dialogue, I'm going to start giving y'all like stuff that I use, right? Because I like to help people that want help, that will respond, and make this a two-way type of thing right here. I'll be opening up the phone lines and stuff, just helping people out. And sometimes I just give people information for free. A lot of times I do, just because they want it, but you got to show that you want it, right? All right. So I'm not sure what happened with Jonel there. So here's the thing. What if I could show you, as a homeowner, number one, just to get into a home, and it will be your home. You can set this thing up so that it's your home that you're controlling, and you don't even have to pay the taxes on it. You don't have to pay none of the big stuff that the person who owns the home is paying. And it's your home that you control. And every year as that property goes up in value, that's your equity. So I've gotten properties where the equities jumped $50,000 or $100,000 in a year when it was a booming hot market, right back in 07, 08. We were getting properties, we put it under option, and we just let it wait. We let it sit there for 6 months, and then we go sell it to somebody and cash out and pick up our 50 grand, 40 grand, 30 grand, right? So you just got to know how to handle this business. Most people are getting in it, they just want to wholesale and do the bottom of the barrel stuff, right? So that's for our homeowners right there, all right? So that's for our homeowners. How about for the people who want to be wholesalers? Right, that's the bottom of the barrel. You have to be very good, know how to negotiate very, very good to even win in that game. Because that's not an air game where you have consistent income. You're basically going up and down, up and down. Some guys are telling me they're wholesaling. They haven't done a deal in over a year. I'm like, well, what are you doing? There's something wrong, right? So I can come in to help any wholesaler and show you how to start, to help you start making money, making money like right away. So here's the thing: we got a whole new crew of people now that we've brought in, and we've expanded out to the Washington D.C. area. We have people out there as well, and one of our students just came across some apartment buildings out in D.C., which we're going to start going after also. Now, if you understand this, getting into this game, you don't have to have a lot of money. You can use this strategy to buy your own home. You can use this strategy to sell off your home to someone else so that you don't have, you let somebody else cover your mortgage plus more, and you give them all of the rights, all of the benefits as a homeowner, right? Let me see if I can bring Jonel on here. I see her up there. So, let's see here. Yeah. Jonel, it's not letting me bring you on now. I'm not sure what's going on. So, once again, I've used these strategies over and over again, and I currently teach this to my son, my children, and so now they have cash flowing assets, and they didn't have to get credit checks. They didn't need a real estate agent, right? They didn't need an attorney. They didn't need any of that, because what it is, it makes you like a smart, very smart, savvy renter on steroids. So you can get in and control these properties. You get your own home with it, right? Hey, Jonel, I see you up there, but for some reason, I can't. So the thing just went away to request. Request to come on, Jonel. I give away so much information for free. Imagine if people just came and got this free information and applied it in their lives. Imagine if you had time, you made the time to do what I'm sharing with you for absolutely free. How it changes your financial picture all around. I see a lot of people out there and they're advertising different products that people may or may not want. The thing about it is everybody needs a place to live. And if you just think about it, it just makes sense. You don't have to be Einstein to figure this out. I show people how to become homeowners without using a real estate agent, without using a title company, without using an attorney, without using their credit, without using banks. And I show them how to build up the equity, sell off the equity, sell off the option, right? And there's an unlimited supply. Let me see if I can bring Jonel back in. Jonel, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. There's go. Let's see here. You back? Hopefully, I have you back. It says that it's adding you. It says it's and you. I don't know why I can't see you. And a whole bunch of stats. Yeah. Maybe something with microphones. I don't know if you have headphones. Let's try some headphones. Guys, we're giving out the absolute best information in the world. I'm working with people. Right? We're helping them become homeowners. You can homeowner, you can get equity out of the property. So we're gonna see if crazy stats. Right?
Is that better?
Absolutely.
All right, we're in action here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
How's it going down there in Florida? Is it cold? Did it drop below 70? You need a snorkel?
You know, it did drop a little bit below 70. It's at like 68, but we're good.
Wow. That
We're
must be
good.
rough for you guys down there.
You know, it's a little bit rough.
68 degrees. Wow. You might have to put a long sleeve shirt on, huh?
Maybe. Well, Preston did leave this morning with a long sleeve. He'll
Oh,
have it off
wow.
by the end of
Okay.
the day. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was talking about this morning on this whole cash flow morning show thing is
Mhm.
we're kind of a continuation of yesterday, and I think it really deserves to be continued.
Mhm.
I was just explaining how I used lease options to get into homes.
Mhm.
So the last three homes that I was in, one in one in Dr. Phillips, Florida,
Mhm.
Orlando. I use this in Orlando. I've done this in Atlanta.
Mhm.
I've done this in um, Lake Lure, North Carolina. I've done this in uh, Daytona Beach area. I had this condo on the water in
Mhm.
Daytona Beach. It's Port what is it? It's something right next to Daytona Beach. It's
Let's
whatever
see.
the little town is right next to Daytona Beach. I just can't remember the name of it right now because eventually ended up selling the properties off. But
Mhm.
all I do is I control these properties
Mhm.
with I control these properties with lease options and
Mhm.
options. And I'm here this morning to tell people if you have been foreclosed on, if you have been evicted, or if you are living in an apartment and you want to live in a house, right? That you can use these strategies to become homeowners. Natasha Blake, I see you, Natasha. What's going on? Thank you for the love on this. Natasha, I believe you're in real estate also, right? And I think we met in person at the country club. Are you a member of the Commerce Club, Natasha, in Atlanta? I'm a member there. I think I may have met you there before. If you're the person I think you are, I know you're doing your thing down there also. Um, but with that being said, uh, how many people's lives can we help by just letting them know that there's information out there that they don't know about, and they're only doing the traditional things, right? The only way that people think that they can get a house is to get a real estate agent,
Mhm.
have go by the Fannie Mae rules and regulations,
Mhm.
get your credit score checked, right? People telling you how much money you can have in your bank or what you can't buy and all of this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
waiting your 45-day period. Maybe you close, maybe you don't, maybe the inspection comes back. That's the bottom of the barrel,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and this is actually a strategy that I've used over and over again. And now we're opening up to show other people how to do it and gonna help Janelle do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so once again, the news flash this morning is that you don't have to, that you can be a homeowner
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what your credit is. Right. No, we look alike. You know who I'm talking about? It's some, I forget the girl's name. It's this girl down there in Atlanta, but I met her at the country club. Great place to do, get in country clubs, right? Um, so we take, this is how simple this is, Janelle. People will get a lease, right? Like you got a lease, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy learning from you. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate that. People get a lease, and there's just one more piece of paper that you need, and you would actually control the home. You would actually be, in real talk, it's a glorified renter, but you
Mm-hmm.
have the exclusive right to stay there for years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Could be 3 years, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. And here's the thing, the longer you stretch it out, when you're in the right market, like a market like this where it's going up, it's called forced appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Or or how would I say it? Um, when something organic, it happens organically, right? The real estate market goes up. And instead of just renting,
Mm-hmm.
if you did a rent to own or a lease option
Mm-hmm.
or a lease purchase,
Mm-hmm.
this works on $50,000 houses. It works on $100,000 houses. If you've been following me for years, you'll see that I've stayed in some very, very nice houses, huge houses, exclusive areas, right? I did it. Listen, God, I'm telling you my secret. I did it with the lease and the option. I find people that have two mortgages. Hey, Natasha, does this make sense? DeMarie Jones, does this make sense? You find people, and we have all of the access to these databases, right, Janelle?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to find. Okay, so we did a training last night with our group, right? And one of the young ladies, the newest person in our group, she lives in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed her this strategy, and we found, I think it was like 850 vacant houses, Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
We 5 seconds, just like that. And you know the parameters that we use. The people
Mm-hmm.
who owned them were out of state owners
Mm-hmm.
and they had vacant houses. So what does that mean? They're investors, they're
Mm-hmm.
landlords. And Janelle, you tell me what comes to your mind when you look at our lists in our system and you see that there's a house that's vacant,
Mm-hmm.
and you look it up and you see, okay, so you say Florida, right? You're in Riverview,
Uh-huh.
and you see a house in Riverview that's vacant, and then you look it up and you see that the owner's in California.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
That, that means I need to get on the phone. We need to have a conversation
Yeah.
on how
Now you
you
tell
know.
me, based off of your experience now, if I'm doing this, do
Mm-hmm.
people like paying two mortgages?
No, they're looking
If
for
I'm gonna tell you
somebody to
this,
help them with that.
yeah, if you have a little bit of money,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to pay two mortgages. The
Mm-hmm.
flip side is, if you got a whole lot of money, you still don't want to pay two mortgages.
Right.
These people did not get investment properties to pay the mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
So, with specialized knowledge and information, you can use this
to get into the house yourself. We're not even talking about investing.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about acquiring your home that
Mm-hmm.
you will control with a lease purchase or a lease option.
Mm-hmm.
Two different forms, and they need to be handled differently.
Mm-hmm.
Many of you say, well, I know what you're talking about. I've done that before. No, you haven't done this before. Because if you filled out one sheet of paper that said lease to own, and you just signed off on it and you took your copy and gave another copy to the landlord, you're not doing what I'm talking about,
Mm-mm.
right? You're not doing it. So there's some things in there that are missing that we're reaching out to help homeowners, right? Number one, this is how I do things. When I teach something, I have to have done it. The people that I teach, they're doing it also.
Mm-hmm.
Janelle is doing this right now. We're gonna help her find the house of her dreams, guys. House of her dreams in Florida. We have the systems, right? So um, she can take her time, find the property, and remember, she's flipping houses, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
getting deeds.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever she decides, she can sell off those deeds, take that money if she has to. See, with the property that she wants, she's probably gonna have to put some money down on it because I'm sure it's gonna be something like 5,000 square feet or more, right? So but we want to keep that down, that deposit as low as possible. But at least by flipping the houses, you can create the money for the down payment. So say you want a $500,000 house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 500,000 may not be a lot in San Francisco, but in Florida, you can find a nice house for 500,000, 700,000, and just
Mm-hmm.
cover the rent. Cover the rent, which will be your mortgage payment if you go over to owner financing, the
Mm-hmm.
full-fledged mortgage. So, how many people need help? Because we now are doing consulting to help people get into homes. Bad credit's okay. Not a lot of money's okay. We can always show you how to increase your income. That's nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was a 4-figure day. Actually, no, it's more than a 4-figure day. It's a 5-figure day, right? So the income part, we can do that. Janelle is building up her passive income now, right? I
Mm-hmm.
help her put notes together, right? So once again, if you're looking to own a home, I don't care where you are in the United States, we can consult with you. It's not for free, but I can show you how to do it. Now, let's say you are a homeowner. You're the seller. You're the person listening to me right now. You're like, I got one of those situations right now. Reach out to us. We
Mm-hmm.
can help you with that. Right? I'm gonna we can set up a time to talk with you for free for 30 minutes. If you have a house, maybe you inherited it, maybe you want to get it, maybe you saw a for sale by owner, and you're like, I would like to live there. Well, let us negotiate it for you. Let us talk to the owner for you if you don't feel that you can do it. Is that fair? That's cool, right, Janelle?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Um, we would like to take it off of your hands because we know exactly what to do with it, but maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want to be in control of all of that. If you are an owner that wants to even convert a regular rental where you're a landlord, right? That sucks, right? Being a landlord sucks. Nobody got into this game to be like, I'm a landlord. No, you got into it for the cash flow, but you know there's problems that come along with it also. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are a landlord, let us show you how to convert from being the bottom of the barrel landlord that's at the tenant's mercy. Oh my God, little Johnny flushed his Ken down the toilet. Oh, Susie put the chicken bones in the toilet. Oh, the garbage disposal stuck because we put bones in it, right? When you set this up as a lease purchase, you're not the landlord anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's different paperwork. It's not a regular lease. It has different clauses inside of it that takes the onus of being a handyman off of you. I've heard, Janelle, have you ever heard anybody say, I don't want to be a landlord because I don't want to be babysitting people. I don't want to be, fixing their plumbing and their toilets and all that stuff.
Yes.
Natasha says, gotta run, but my goodness, awesome content and info here. Thank you very much, Natasha. And if you want to get into this business, Natasha, we can help you out too. Okay. If wherever you are, let's just talk. Let's talk on the phone. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. If you like the content, you love it, share the videos. Okay. I'll definitely be watching the replay. This is awesome. All right. No problem. So we'll let you know also where to go set up, for a consultation. So we work with homeowners and we work with investors. So we cover in both sides. If you're a homeowner, we can show you how to convert from being the bottom of the barrel landlord to a highly sophisticated bank. If you're a homeowner, right? Natasha says, wow, with 3 exclamation points. Yes. YEEEESSSSS. Right? I like you, Natasha. So if you're the landlord, we can help you do that. If you want to do this as a business in your hometown, we have a business model that you can follow. We'll consult with you. You'll basically be a part of our team, right? So I'll tell you right now, you can go to www.timewithjonel.xyz, Jonel, and put your info, book a 30-minute spot. I'm telling you, we got a new decade coming in. It's time for some new ideas. It's time for some new success, right, Natasha? Right, Janelle?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the homeowner side. Now let's talk about the investors. I got to stop saying that and let me bring some clarity. I think I might have to do another State of the Union address for real estate. Because there's a lot of guys around here saying that they're investors, but they're not. And let me clarify. If you are only a wholesaler, that's the bottom of the barrel in real estate. You only get paid one time if you do something. Worst case, you don't want to do that. The investor is actually the person who is getting the return on their income, ROI, right? You're getting a return. So the investor would be the person that the wholesaler flips the property to. We can help you go from the wholesaler to the investor, where you now have cash flow coming in from the same things that I'm teaching the homeowners how to do. There's 2 sides to this. Please feel me right now. There's 2 sides to this. If I could think of another way to put it, I'd say when you master this, you eliminate your money worries. You create notes. You sell portions of them off. You keep passive income coming in. Right? So let's talk about the investor side now, or the wholesaler side now, because most people, that's what they do, wholesale. Now you can get properties from the sellers who have 2 houses or 3 houses or 4 houses, and they're empty. So now they're paying 2 mortgages or 3 mortgages or 4 mortgages. I can show you how to find the people who have the houses, but they're not paying the mortgages. That's called foreclosure, pre-foreclosure. So what if you could talk to those people before they actually lost the property and get them to agree to hand it over to you on this lease option or lease purchase? 2 separate things. Now we teach you how to build a tenant buyer list, a list of people who want to come in and do the owner financing on the house. And you become the bank, not a landlord. Or you pass the deal over to us. Or you pay us a consulting fee and we show you how to market it. We show you what to do. We show you how to get the tenant buyers, right? We show you what to say, tell you what to say, and to the seller to make this all come together. So basically, I'm not saying here's your cake, here's the eggs, here's the flour, here's the butter, here's the salt, here's the little blender, not even a blender, a fork, right? Most of us are trying to do this game. You're taking all these ingredients and trying to mix it together with a fork, and you're like, this isn't working, right? I flipped one house 2 years ago. I think a guy told me the last time he flipped something was at the beginning of the year. It's not a business. A business is systematic and it happens. There's leads that come in every day. And we're pretty good at that now. Would you say, Jonel?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So we can help you put this all together. So basically, guys, there's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses for you staying in the same position. There's no excuses for you complaining. There's no excuses for you not having what you want to have, right? So let's get some commentary from the Queen of Deeds over here, right? She's quiet over there listening. But those are the ones you got to watch. Those quiet ones that just be listening. They just be looking to see when you're going to slip up. Because the quiet ones, they know a lot. The ones always running their mouth like me. Well, I do know a lot. But I do run
Yeah,
my
you
mouth
do.
too.
You do. Yeah.
All right. I'm the oxymoron for that whole thing. Right? So yeah, Jonel, what give me some hindsight on this information that we're talking about today. It's part of the whole cash flow morning show.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a brilliant idea, and I wish that this is something that is taught to us, you know, earlier in life rather than later. I definitely wish it was something that I knew about. Like nobody knows about the option part of the lease purchase, which that will save us a whole lot of time. Because if you just get into the lease agreement, lease to purchase, they are still able to sell the home from up under you, and then you have to move out. So that option part is really really key to when you get into your lease purchase agreements. You have to have that option for your protection. So I wish that was the standard of what's being taught when you go into these lease options with these companies. But they do that. They don't tell you for their protection. But we have to learn how to seek out different strategies for ourselves too. So I'm glad that we have this platform where we're able to spread it on such a prominent social media platform, so we can get it out to the masses, because this is not stuff that's being taught every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me just go a little bit further, because sometimes you guys hear me say lease option. Sometimes you hear me say lease purchase. Let's just talk about the differences. Okay, so let's say Jonel is the seller. She has the home that she lives. I called her up. She lives in Massachusetts. I'm trying to get out of Detroit to go to Florida, right? Because, I want to know what it's like to be cold when it drops to 69 and need to put a long sleeve shirt on instead of the carnigans and all this stuff, right? So here's the deal, guys. And I just want to educate you. Even if you never do business with us, we're going to still give you the right information.
Yeah.
So if we're giving you this information for free, imagine what happens when we're consulting with you.
Yeah.
So here we go. Lease option. Okay. That benefits the buyer / optionor the most. Because what it does is it locks the seller into a purchase that may or may not happen. So I want you to think of this: rent to own or lease option. So that means you're renting it with the option to buy. You're putting down what's called an option consideration. That's non-refundable. But now you've tied that person's property up for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. whatever the case may be. They have to wait when it's done right. They have to wait to see if you want to buy it. So you've actually tied somebody's property up. Now, there's still a right way and a wrong way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because there's two separate forms. One is a lease and one is an option. The lease says you get to enjoy a place, those that you control that place. You can live in it, party in it, do what you want to do in it, as long as you're not really, disturbing people. That's the lease. That you get a copy, the owner gets a copy, goes in your file cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
But what's missing from that and where people are getting burned is that they never had a separate option agreement. Mm-hmm. See, the option means that you have the option to purchase it throughout the term that you guys agreed upon. If you don't take that option agreement and get it notarized mm-hmm. and record it in the land records or the register of deeds, you do not have a rent to own. You mm-hmm. do not have a option agreement or lease option agreement which protects you.
Yeah.
That is your protection, and it gives you exclusivity mm-hmm. on the lease with the option to buy it. Mm-hmm. They got to be two separate contracts. If you're in one of those right now and you like to know how to get converted to the real deal, mm-hmm. you can go to www.timewithjonel, JONEL.xyz, and we can review your paperwork. Now, the work won't be free. Understand, this is business. There will be a consulting fee, but at least we can, imagine like all of the equity that you could save if you can really structure a proper lease option. So, lease option, the seller must sell to you. Mm-hmm. You have the option to buy or not. That's a lease option. That favors the buyer most. Mm-hmm. Now, the second one is a lease purchase. Mm-hmm. That one favors the seller the most. So, watch this, Jonel. Now you'll be an investor, right? As the investor, you want to get the property, if you can, on a lease option. You want to sell it off, how?
You're going to sell on lease purchase.
You get it from the seller mm-hmm. on a lease option. Mm-hmm. You may or may not buy it. So you're not locked in. If you're doing this as a business, right? If you're doing this as a business to build your cash flow. Good morning, Charlotte. I see you. To build your cash flow, you want to get the property from the owner on a lease option. You have the option to buy it. But you turn around now and you have a separate set of papers for the tenant buyer that's coming in. You want them, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It really depends on your situation. Mm-hmm. But you want them to have a longer term than you do. Mm-hmm. And really, you probably really want to lock them in on a lease purchase. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to have your property tied up, right?
Right.
Because it's now becomes Jonel. It becomes it's what they call a sandwich lease, mm-hmm. right? You get one for a lower amount. This is mm-hmm. just sales, right?
Yeah.
For a lower amount, and then you get another one for a higher amount, and you pass it on to your tenant buyer. Mm-hmm. Now, if I have a lease option, let's just say I have one for 3 years. So a guy says, I don't want to go no more than 3 years. Okay. I want to lock someone in that maybe can pay it off or buy it maybe in 2 years, and it depends on your exit strategy. Maybe in 2 years, or I want them to go out longer so that once this first person is paid off, I still have free and clear money coming in on a house that I never bought. I just mm-hmm. controlled it.
Yes.
That makes sense? So you want to buy on a lease option. If it's for you personally and you know that you're going to buy this property, you're working on your credit, you're going to do what needs to be done in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, you're going to refinance it, do the lease purchase. All right? You would do the lease purchase on that one. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
So either way, I'm going to tell you what you don't need. If you're a real estate agent, I'm sorry, but when you're doing the lease purchase, good morning, DW Gilmer, I see you there, man. If you're doing the lease purchase or the lease option, your credit no longer matters.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go to a bank. You don't need a real estate agent. I've acquired a $500,000 property, 2 $500,000 properties. One in, if you guys are in Florida, you guys familiar with Orlando, I have a property in Dr. Phillips, the gated community out there. If you know anything about North Carolina, I controlled a house on top of a mountain that was worth $500,000 on 2 acres of land, 5,000 square feet. There's only 4 houses on the whole entire block. When I tell people where I live, they were like, what? But I did it with the lease purchase. Your credit never has to be, Janelle, in a way, it's, you know what it's like, Janelle? It's like if you were to put some clothes on layaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have to wait to pay it off. You could wear them now. So you can own your home right now by using the lease purchase or the lease option. The systems that we use, like I was saying, we just brought a young lady in last night into our group who lives in Washington, D.C. I showed her the system that we use. Just say this. Remember, you seen her face last night, right, Janelle?
Mm-hmm.
Mind blown.
Mm-hmm.
Smart lady, too. Here's the thing, guys. When I started learning more about this business, I started talking to people. If you look at my Facebook header, right, Janelle, on that seminar, there's people in there that have master's degrees and PhDs. And they didn't know this stuff. They didn't know about excess proceeds from the taxes. So once again, we're helping people own their homes. I'm going to do a live case study with Jonel. Right? This is an opportunity to get into a house without a realtor, without banks, even if you have a 400 credit score. It's about finding people in distress who have 2 houses or more. The house is vacant. The house is in Florida. They live in Massachusetts. They live in Texas. They live in California. There's nobody in the house, guys. They're paying 2 mortgages. If you know what to say to them, they will allow you to control the property. And the thing that I love the most about this, Janelle, when we buy properties the regular way through a real estate agent, good morning, Sheila. When we buy houses through a real estate agent, you're paying full market value.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely do you walk into a house with $50,000, $100,000 equity in it. You're starting from zero because the real estate agent wants you to pay full market price so that she can get her commission. She's not going to negotiate it down $200,000 for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to negotiate it down to the mortgage balance for you. Let's be real,
Mm-hmm.
right? Charlotte, does that make sense, right? Sheila, does that make sense? Dwight, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting the information. A lot of people say that knowledge is power. I'm going to give you a different spin on it. Applied knowledge is power. Knowledge alone is only information. Actually, there is no knowledge alone. You have stuff written down, books, internet, seminars, mentors, all this stuff. Even though I've had success with it and I've taught other people how to have success with it, to you, it's just information.
Mm-hmm.
Until you go and apply this, implement the strategies, that's when it becomes knowledge. That's when knowledge becomes power because it's applied. Do we understand that?
Mm.
So we are working with people who want to become homeowners. I don't care what your credit is. We're also teaching wholesalers how to become real investors. I will use Jonel and whoever else is under me and help make you case studies and help you get your homes, right? And we consult with other wholesalers who are doing the bottom of the barrel. And maybe you did a deal this year, maybe you didn't. That's not a business. You see, a business has leads coming in every day. A business, you're talking to prospective clients every day on the phone. You're finding people with problems, guys. This doesn't work with somebody who's just motivated, but this is what the gurus tell you guys, and you go for it. You don't know better. You don't know, and you gotta know or you're gonna get hurt. So it's time to unlearn some things, right? Think about this, Charlotte. Think about this, Sheila. Think about this, everybody. Our absolute best thinking has gotten us right where we are today. I'm gonna let that slow roast right there for about 15 to 20 minutes. Let that slow roast. Think about that. Your absolute best thinking has gotten you in the situation that you're in. Now, for some folks, that looks pretty good. But that's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to folks like me who've made big mistakes and learned later in life. And people who want to finally get it. People who say, I'm going to seek out the information, I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to have the results that I desire. That's who we are. This is not a course. This is not some guru coming in on a yacht telling you you can own a yacht next week too. No. No fluff. No magic beans. And what else to know? No what?
Smoke screens.
No smoke screens. If you want fluffy, feel-good stuff, that's not me. It's not Jonel. This is real stuff that we're doing. I've been doing for 20 years. Jonel's been doing for a few months with me. And she's doing some amazing things because she got the right information. She applied it. And anyone can do this. So do you want to be a homeowner? Are you an investor who's struggling? Are you a wholesaler who's struggling? The investors don't struggle. The wholesalers struggle. There's different levels. And we need to understand that if you're just wholesaling, you're at the bottom. You have to actively do something every day, every month, right? Every year to keep making money. So it's a glorified job. But we need to learn how to systematize this stuff. We need to learn how to have actual assets, cash flowing assets. And I'm telling you, one of the easiest ways to get into this is the good old fashioned under the radar lease option, lease purchase. So let me know what you guys think about that. I know some of you guys, if you don't need to find a house, you know somebody that needs to find a house. I can even teach you and be your consultant and have you go out and consult other people and get paid for that. You see what I'm saying, Jonel? Like there's multiple streams when you understand and you become a player in the game of real estate and not a speculator. This is 21 years almost of experience. This is over 25,000 phone calls that I've made over the last 20 years, maybe more. I've stopped counting.
Before I got on the call, did you go over with everybody how they have access to the equity if they have the option in place?
I may have, I'm not sure, but I can go
Okay.
over that.
Yeah, because when I got to a place where I was really serious about being a homeowner, I really wanted to be in a position to have some equity building. So that's why I wanted to purchase a home. I wound up going through the lease option agreement, but apparently it was the lease purchase agreement. There was no option that I recorded, so I missed out, number one, on actually purchasing the home because they sold it, and I wish I missed out on the equity that I could have gotten out of the house had I had the
Correct.
proper knowledge. So
Correct.
this is really some key information that I'm glad that we have a platform to kind of get it out to the masses.
Okay, so everybody, good morning, Michael Coleman. I see you there. Everyone, y'all need to give Janelle a great shout out because she just reminded me on a piece that's critical for your family. Okay. The purpose of the option. So you have your lease, which allows you to stay in the property, and you also have an option agreement. Now, let's state this also. Hold on. My phone is, when the computer goes down, it takes the energy off the cord. So hold on. There we go. Okay. So you have the lease is in the option agreement, right? Oh, I lost your note. Let's get it back.
Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, see if we can get the Queen of Deeds back in here. She's actually taken the information that I've taught her and she's crushed it. She's got properties like crazy now. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. Looks like we lost her. Good morning, Najib. I see you. If I can get Janelle back in, she just brought up a great point, guys. This right here alone is just information that will really turn things around for your family, right? I'm trying to see if I can bring her back up. Let me see. Trying to bring Janelle back in. Yeah, she just looked out for y'all, for real, for real. Janelle, I'm hitting the button, but for some reason it's not letting her on. Now, I really want the viewers on Janelle's side to hear this also, so I just want to try to bring her in. So just bear with me, guys. Like, I'm giving you guys the best information available out there. Not the bottom of the barrel stuff. Even if we never do business, listen to what I'm saying. Remember, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. If you do not apply the things that I talk about, it's only information. It doesn't become knowledge until you apply it. Right? Let me see. Janelle, hit the thing again to try to come in. I definitely want your people to hear this. I don't know why it's doing this to you. Let me see. Let me see. What's up, Najib? I see you. Just trying to get this some great information out to you guys. I don't know, Jonel. It's not letting me let you in. Let's try this little stylus pen here. I got a stylus on the phone that I never even use. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to use this stylus over here. All right, let's see. Put my glasses on so I can see a little bit. Let's see if this works. Nah, it's not working. I can't put it. I don't know if this is a Facebook gimmick, because I know we're putting out some of the best information out there. So, Jonel, I'm not sure why I can't get you in there, but I'm going to answer your question anyway. Jonel wanted me to tell you guys about the equity that you have control of when you do a lease option or when you do a lease purchase. Right? Let's see. I'm trying to bring her in. Yeah. Okay, I got to that part, but there we go. Let's see if I get you now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm just taking my game with you guys to a whole other level. I want to put out the absolute best information in the real estate game. This is all stuff that I've done myself. And so Jonel, could you just repeat what you wanted me to say again so I can address it?
Okay. So I was asking if you had mentioned before I got on initially about how when you record the option agreement for the lease option, when you record it, you have access to the equity in the house, although you don't own the house, but you control it. So.
Okay. So the beautiful thing about that, and that's a great point. Once again, guys, y'all got to give it up. She's looking out for y'all. Right? Let me give you an example. You have a house that you get under control with a lease option. You have the lease, you have the option. The house at the current time is worth $100,000. You found a person that has an empty property in Florida and they live in California. They're paying rent on 2 properties, right? This isn't the rehab property, right? Najiba says, thanks, Janelle. This isn't the rehab property. These are going after pretty properties, right? Pretty, when I say pretty, I mean that pig got lipstick on it, looking good, right? That house got lipstick on it, love them houses, right? You don't have to do anything. Maybe you're only coming in and doing some painting and carpet, right? You're getting it for your tenant buyer, or for you. We're gonna say for you right now. If you negotiate the option agreement for $100,000. You say to the seller, Mr. Seller, how long, and I'm giving some game over here. This is really reserved for my protege, but you better thank Janelle.
Sorry.
Thank you. I'm giving them some game. If they've applied it, it'll change their life. Right? Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, they say, well, how continue making on-time payments for your mortgage? Right? So that's what it's going to take. So once you do the negotiating, you get it down, you get the property under contract under lease option. Now this is for if you want to live in it, not for the investing side. You want to live in it. But it works both ways. Right? So you get it under the lease option for $100,000. So you did the lease that says, I don't know, you're paying $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all, guys. That's not all. You guys are missing this point, and you're
Mm-hmm.
missing out on tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. This is why I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand why people, hey Najiba, this is why I don't understand why people don't get into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's free money that you can control, capture. So let's just say um, the person is behind on their rent, just like we went over last night in the class.
Mm-hmm.
The person, and this is for the higher end people, this wasn't for the lease option training, right? I have different programs. So let's just say, I can use my own example. I had a property where a girl was 2 months behind on her mortgage. And this is another thing, like you guys shouldn't be spending your income tax money. What do you mean I shouldn't be buying no red bottoms when I get my money? No, you should be taking your income tax money and looking for opportunities like this.
Mm-hmm.
You ladies out there, 5, 6, 7 children, getting back $10,000. You take that 10,000 could turn your whole life around.
Oh yeah.
This year's income tax, if we start thinking like a bank, will turn everything around for you because I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I've done. I'm telling you what my billionaire mentor did. I'm telling you what Janelle's doing. I'm telling you what our people are going to be doing, what Charlotte's going to be doing, what Najiba's going to be doing, what Shane's going to be doing, what all the people are doing that are
Mm-hmm.
following us. So I got a property under a lease option. So the girl was behind. The last job I had, I was still doing this on the side, and this is what freed me up from my job. Right? I ended up with a check for $34,500. Anybody want to know how I did that? Okay. I'm sure you do. If I could hear you right now, somebody saying hell to the yeah, right? So I found somebody who was behind, or she found me, because I would always talk about being an investor, even though I had a job.
Mm-hmm.
So she was 2 months behind on her rent. At the time, her rent was $800 a month, right? $800 a month. So that means she was 2 months behind. She owed $1,600.
Mm-hmm.
It was right around Christmas time, and she had 2 kids that she didn't have money to have a good Christmas with. She
Mm-hmm.
came to me and she told me her problem. She said, to be honest with you, I'm leaving Connecticut and I'm going to move down to Maryland in about 6 months. I'm going to get a transfer. Okay. So a little bit of time went by, maybe a couple of weeks, and she came back to me again. Can you help me? She had a problem, Janelle.
Mm-hmm.
In this business, Najiba, Charlotte, we are problem solvers. You will never
Mm-hmm.
run out of business. You'll never run out of prospects. That's why I won't sell anything else for any other company, because I'm in full control of my family's empire.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I said, okay, what if I loaned you the money? She's like, yeah, I like that. I said, but you're going to give me something in return. She said, what? I said, I want to buy the property when you move. And it was a duplex, and she lived on half of them. It's kind of like those properties we were looking at in Najiba last night. And so I said, I need you to sign off on a purchase and sale agreement, right? I see a purchase and sale agreement. I gave her a option agreement, not a lease option, because I wasn't living in it. The only way you do a lease option is if you're living in it. You control it, the lease option. I wasn't living in it, so I just did a raw, straight option, one piece of paper. That
Mm-hmm.
one piece of paper said that she would sell me the house. Let me see if I can remember the numbers. She would sell me the house for $83,000 or $85,000. At the time, it was worth $65,000. We were in the middle of remember in 07, 06, when everything was going up before it crashed? You could just buy a house and change the welcome mat and make $20,000 more. Remember those days? Right? I was there. I was there in the beginning. So I said, okay, I'll buy it if you're going to leave next year. And I calculated out, the cost of, the increase in what the properties were going up for. So I said, I'll give you 85,000. We got to put it in writing, and I need you to, if you're going to do this for me, I need you to notarize it. She didn't know what it was, but what I gave her, Jonel, was an option.
Mm-hmm.
So it said she gave me a term of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case anything happened, I wanted to control this property. 5 years, and when people are in distressed situation, they go along, right? They go along. We're not
Right.
taking advantage of anybody, but come on now, they'll go along, right? So I had it for 5 years. I put down there the price that I would pay for the property in the future, not
Mm-hmm.
today, in the future, 5 years from now. Well, I didn't know that the market was going to jump up again. So she gives me a call about 6 months later, maybe 4 to 6 months later. And she says, you know what? The transfer came through for Cablevision. That's where I used to
Mm-hmm.
work, cable, right? If you're on the East Coast, you know what that is, right? They said that I can leave now. They're paying for my moving and everything. Awesome. Now, at the time, I was just working a job. I didn't have a lot of accessible income. I was just learning the real estate game. So that goes to show you anybody can do this. So I said, okay, great. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I gave her 24. This is a lease option. This is a lease with an option to buy. No, Najiba, it was just the option, not the lease, because I wasn't living there. She was already living in her house. So you got to know when to separate them, right? So what I did is I gave her a loan for $2,400. I took $1,600 of it and I paid her back mortgage. She gave me a letter of authorization to speak to the bank. So I confirmed everything first. That's all you need to speak to the bank on somebody else's behalf, a bank letter of authorization. So I paid off the $1,600 and she had $800 to have a nice Christmas for her 2 little boys. Okay, now fast forward. So the $2,400 was the option consideration. I didn't just give it to her. It was option consideration. That's that non-refundable down payment. It went to Hip National Bank. But for her, it went to the real bank. Right? Most of it went to the real bank. So she had $800. She spent it. She calls me back a few months later and says, I'm out of here. So I had my bucket of cash buyers. I went to my cash buyers who didn't know what I knew. They didn't know what I paid for it, but I took the option that said that I would buy it for $85,000 and I recorded it in the land records or the register of deeds. I recorded it. That option now turns into a lien. Turns into a lien on the property. And if you know anything about real estate, when you go to sell or when you go to refinance, you know what has to be paid?
The lien.
Yeah, the lien has to be paid. So I'm in control. This is my business. I went and found a newbie who wanted to buy properties, had great credit. Back then in 06, 07, they were doing stated loans, stated income. All you had to do is you had a 700 score or above, done deal, is yours, right? That's what got us into this mess when everything crashed. She bought the property, Jonel. Now remember, the option allows me to capture that price point.
Right.
Every dollar above that price point is now my equity. All I did was record the option agreement. Now, 6 months later, Jonel, I find an investor who wants to buy in this area. It's a decent area. They bought the property from the owner for $133,000. You do the math. So the option was for 85. Her mortgage was like 60 something or 50 something. All I remember is that when we looked at the HUD statement with our attorneys, it said that the owner was going to get $31,000 and I was going to get $34,500. The owner thought that, oh wow, she was going to keep all the money.
Mm.
She told me she wasn't going to do that, give me that much money. I said, oh, okay. Why was I confident?
Because you recorded the option. Mm.
So record the option, every dollar above as the value rises, that's new equity that's created, that's yours, your equity. So by the time the sale took place, the property value went up over $60,000.
Mm-hmm.
The lady got her cut out of it, but she wanted all of it. She said, I think she wanted to give me like a couple of $1,000s. I was like, no. So remember, we got attorneys up there in the Northeast. She's ready to leave.
Mm-hmm.
My attorney told her attorney, she's going to honor the option agreement. If she doesn't do this, we're going to sue you. Guess what she ended up doing?
Honoring the agreement. Mm-hmm.
She honored her agreement. This is why you got to get it in the beginning, because people change up and they see that money.
Mm-hmm.
So when you understand this game, that's free equity, Jonel. Free equity that I collected almost $35,000. And I've done that several times, over and over and over again. And this is what the information does when you apply it. So not only can you get in your own home, when you do it for yourself, you're capturing that equity for yourself. Mm-hmm. So if the property goes up an extra $100,000 off of what you agreed upon and recorded an option, that's your money. Now, even when you're negotiating from the beginning, the better you are, the more you talk it down, the more equity you're building for yourself. Mm-hmm. So, when you know this, my question is, Jonel, let me ask you, would you now go get a real estate agent and give away all of your equity so that she can her 6%?
No.
Najiba says, was she up for foreclosure? Yes, Najiba, she was. When I said, I don't know if you heard this part, she was 3 months behind. I'm sorry, 2 months behind. She was 2 months behind, and I gave her an extra $800 because she was giving me the property, letting me get the option on it. So I gave her $800, just being a nice person. Gave her $800 for her Christmas shopping. And she gave me the option, which I ended up making. Was that a pretty good investment, you know? $2,400 to put up to get
Absolutely.
back 34,000.
Yes.
Najiba says, oh, she contacted you from one of your signs? No, this lady here used to work with me at Cablevision. I used to just tell everybody I'm an investor now. And she remembered that and came back to me just by talking at the job. Yeah, I'm going to leave here one day soon. I'm about to make $1 million. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm investing in real estate now. So you got to let people know what you're doing, right? Let people know. Don't be an undercover investor. Don't be an undercover agent. Let people know what you're doing, right? So that's how that deals. So yes, that's the power of a lease option. That's the power of a regular option or a lease purchase. And you can do this for yourself to get your own home. I don't care if you went through foreclosure or eviction. I don't care what you've been through. You can do this because you're reaching out to distressed sellers who they got a problem. They don't want to sell, they need to sell. And you make money when people need to sell. All right? So, good point to bring up there, Jonel. That was great. You guys like this information? This is what we teach people. We teach people how to do this. We teach people how to go from the bottom of the barrel stuff to making that quantum leap and creating the income that they desire and deserve. All right? Najiba says, you use your own money to pay off her back mortgage? Yeah, it was actually my income tax money. I learned from my mentor to not spend my income tax money anymore, to look for opportunities. So I took my income tax money and I looked for the opportunities. And that's when I first started learning not to spend all of my income that comes in, to put 30% of it away also, so that I always have money for opportunities. And these are little things right here that make all of the difference in the world. right? Little things that make all the difference in the
Mm-hmm.
world. Most people spend all of their money until it's gone. That's why they stay in a rat race. You keep going
Mm-hmm.
around and around and around. If you're not going to make yourself the number one bill, then you're going to stay in the position that you're in. And even if you hit the lottery, you're still going to spend it all until it's gone because you're in the habit of spending it all until it's gone. The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we can look at people and tell where they're going because there's a trajectory. You're either gonna be a good money manager or a poor money manager. But we're all money managers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thanks for bringing that side of it up, Janelle. That was some great information. So guys, let us know what you think of this video. Let us know if you'd like to know more about this. Let us know if you need to have a home, if you're losing your home. Let us know if you're a wholesaler that heard this that says, I don't want to stay at the bottom of the barrel, right? I want to get, I want to make this a business. I want to set up my tenant buyers and my cash buyers and my distressed sellers, and I want to learn how to orchestrate this thing because I want to be the conscious creator of my life. That's how I look at real estate. I'm the conscious
Mm-hmm.
creator of the maestro. Janelle, you're the maestro. You conduct this stuff. So remember,
Mm-hmm.
I went out and found a cash
Yes.
buyer, right? It's somebody that I knew too, that I knew she wanted to get in the game. She paid
Mm-hmm.
retail for the property. So you know how to get it wholesale,
Wow.
then you can sell it off retail also. Now there's another property I did down in Longwood, Florida, right? A condo I sent out to people who were in pre-foreclosure. One of the guys that responded to me just got out of prison. He had been in prison for a few years and got my letter right when he got out. He inherited a house. I had a student who was in on a deal. He knew that his house was worth 130,000. He told my student he won 130,000. I said, put me on the phone. Janelle, when I tell you that the guy settled for $70,000, would you believe it?
Of course.
So we did a contract with him for 70,000 on a house that was worth 130.
Wow.
It was a condo, right? It was in I think Longwood, is that in Seminole County, right? So what I did is I took the property, got it under contract, got an option on it. I always put options on my stuff because I don't want people to try to turn around and try to get out the deal.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up, I gave it to a realtor. The realtor sold it for 133,000.
Mm.
I ended up splitting like $50,000 with my student. I think I got 30 and he got 20, something like that. He was
Mm-hmm.
happy, happy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
20,000. All he
Cha-ching.
did was spend out. All he did was spend like I don't know. He spent like $1,000 sending out letters. I closed the deal for him because I am the
Mm.
closer. If y'all don't know that, I'm the closer. Right?
You are the closer. Yep.
I'm the closer. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Jiba says I have a friend that's spending $1,500 a month on a one-bedroom right now who wants out. Maybe I can help her. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you how to do that. Let's get on the calendar, right? Well, I know that I told you guys that I was going to be doing marketing till 12 today, but I forgot about an appointment that I had, and I'm not going to be able to do that today. But Najiba, get on the calendar for if there's slots open for this evening, get on the calendar for this evening. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on. Find out before we get on our call what your friend really wants to do. What's their backup plan? They have somewhere to go, right? This could be the beginning of you getting your first property now. See,
Mm-hmm.
now we start thinking, right? Because all the
Mm-hmm.
time, stuff, oh, so and so losing her house. Oh, so and so got evicted. So and so's walking away from the mortgage. We hear this all the time, but we don't know what to do with the info. It's just information. Now we turn it into knowledge. Now we.
Mm-hmm.
Najiba says, I already told her she could buy a condo. She was open to it. Okay. So basically, I just would have to, I'll get on the phone with you and I'll talk to her and we'll see what's up. Okay. So set up a time, get on the calendar, let me know. Um, and we'll go from there. All right. So Janelle, I just want to know, if you believe that we just added value to your people on your page on Facebook. You think we added some great value to them this morning?
Absolutely. I really think they'll be tuning on again.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I can give you guys examples of tons and tons of deals that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we'll be doing more. And if you're in that Florida area, man, we're coming to crush down there. We're coming to crush down there. And
Yep.
Janelle, keep you in, if you're in her family or whatever, you'll see. And you'll see. All right. So with that being said, that's my time for this morning. Janelle, would you like to close us out this morning while I get the offering plate?
We need to
I'm gonna
pass
get
it
the offering
around. Yeah,
pass
yeah,
the
we
plate
need to
around.
pass that plate around. Yes,
This
yes.
deserves an offering for real.
It does. It does. And really, offering for me would be to see people implement this knowledge. Like that's good
Information.
enough for me. Information. Yes. Just to see people, get the information and actually start putting it to work. That's really all I want to see. I want to see our people grow and be self-sufficient. Because right now, we work on jobs, but we're not sufficient. Those people can lay us off at any time. And so really we're at that beck and call. We're still in slavery right now.
Yeah.
And this information.
Or you can work in some law firm's law firm's accounts receivables department. Bring them in over $1 million, and they tell you they give you a quarter an hour raise.
Yes, that's a slap in the face.
Isn't it?
So we're still corporate slaves.
Yeah.
So
And my whole thing was, if I could bring in $1 million for somebody else's company, why can't I do it for
yes,
myself? Right?
why
Does
you
anybody ever
can.
think like that? Does anybody ever think like, if I could bring in whatever you
Hmm.
bring into the company, why won't you do it for yourself? Well,
Yeah.
the reason is because you don't know how.
Hmm.
That's the
And we
only
just
reason.
gave Jules.
Right. We just gave you all types of wisdom seeds and black diamonds
Hmm.
and all that. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So, so once again, we do and we help out investors. All right. You'll find this on YouTube. These videos
Hmm.
on YouTube. You can get on for consulting. Janelle, what's your the website to go to get on your calendar?
The website is www.thejonelgilmerstory.com.
So for your calendar,
For the
right?
calendar, it's going to be time with Janelle.xyz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we laid down the law. We're going to continue to do series on the cash flow morning show. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Sometimes maybe we try to keep it consistent, but things come up, deals come up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like the information that we have, apply it. That's the free stuff. So imagine if you bring us in as mentors, what happens? If this is the free side of
Cha-ching.
it. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. If you see this later on, you feel that it delivers great value, share it on your page. Share it. Let's let other people know, right? What's going on, how they can flip their life, right? How they can
Mm-hmm.
be more, do more, and have more whenever they
Mm-hmm.
decide, right? So that's my time
Mm-hmm.
for this morning, guys. I appreciate you coming in. We'll be back tomorrow with the L and the Cash Flow Morning Show. All right? That's our time, guys. Your family's success, and God bless.